Aloha, dear, dear hearts. Wow. So, another day, another revelation, another help from the universe, from Jesus, from God. So, this one is about effortlessness. How effortless this life really is. But we've made it, or something wanted to make it seem hard, confusing, reckless, chaotic, sleepless, um, difficult. mm, all those struggling adjectives or verbs or whatever they are, words. But the reality is life is effortless. It's actually wordless, timeless, um, formless. Yet we have come into this space for a seeming certain of time to experience in a very illusionary way of what it would be like if reality was like this. And if reality was like this, it would go on and on and on, and it wouldn't like seemingly be birthed or end in death, and all of that part of this program. So, the culprit seems to be the mind that has persuaded these human beings into believing what it says. So the riddle is, finding that door out of that belief, like in the Truman story. I mean, he really thought that was all real until someone tipped him off, said, it's not really real. They've got you. Start paying closer attention. Start asking questions in yourself. Start unbelieving and find something you might know to be true if you can find it. But that in itself is effortless, because knowing just arrives. Awakening just arrives. Reality can arise without effort, even in the midst of all of these beliefs and illusions, delusion, um, temporary visuals, thoughts. Like everything just happens. It it just happens. A lot of times I'll do things and then I go, God, that just happened. I right now I don't even feel like anything happened or that I did anything unless I feel really exhausted, and that passes as well. And that just happened. But we tie it all together, like, oh, this happened because that happened, or because I decided for it to happen, or I willed it to happen, or it's a karmic happening that I caused because of something I did or said, and it came back. It's too much thinking, too much trying to figure things out. I listened to a meditation and it was saying, you don't have to understand, you don't have to figure it out, and you don't have to go around wanting people to think that you figured it all out, even. Just let it be. Take a deep breath and just breathe out all of the needing to know, needing to understand, needing to figure it out. Why this happened, that happened. Just know it effortlessly happened. And there is a great force here that has it all under control. It's all perfect. It's all so nothing, because it passes. And maybe it's something to someone or to the force or somewhere, to something, but obviously that passes as well. So it's a matter of resolving to stay in effortlessness. And when it arises, oh, I better do this. I better get that done. Oh, God, I feel like doing something. What should I do? What should I do? Maybe I can imagine something to do or create something to do. Or maybe I should do this or ought to. Letting that go and giving it to effortlessness, that is reality, that never fails, that is always creating, moving things, accomplishing things. It's the power, it's the strength, it's the force, it's the all that is. Allowing it to be itself, to do itself, to use this vessel how it wants to, or however, and kind of stay out of it. Kind of just don't even have to watch it. Yeah, because it's just happening. So it certainly does help with unneeded anxiety, worry, dread, fretting, complaining, desiring. I mean, even that we can totally let go of because all of our needs are just going to happen. And if it doesn't, when I was adventuring, I was off on my own and going into different situations and workplaces and even different cities, different towns. And sometimes I would find myself without food and no money and no job yet. But I seemed to have a place to lay my head. I never felt like I was homeless. But I would just think of it as I'm fasting. Okay, I'm cleansing. My body's just cleansing. And that's why I'm not eating. And of course, food would come, more food than I could probably handle. People would just offer things. I didn't go begging or crying or anything or asking for anything. And it would just come effortlessly. It just would arrive. And it just seemed like I was allowing that happening to just happen and progress any way it wanted to. And I would just be here for it, not waiting, but enjoying the fast. This is what fasting is about. Oh, I feel good already. I feel kind of light and clean. I could, if food comes, it's like starting again, with deep appreciation and breaking my fast. So, I think this is a golden nugget of allowing myself to accept effortlessness as a reality and allowing it to be me, the real me. And so when all these things hit, oh, the shoulds, ought tos, you better try harder, push yourself to do it, because it needs to get done. And even that, something will appear to be needed to get done, but I don't feel like it. I'm not feeling it. It makes me kind of feel drained to think about it. So I let it go. And sure enough, sometimes only 10 minutes later or the next day or whatever, it gets done and I feel like doing it. And I really feel like doing it. And I don't sometimes even feel like doing it. I just do it. My body moves and I just do it. With or without feeling. These feelings, they can be, they're like your best friend and sometimes not an enemy, but it's a derivative of kind of sliding you off course, seemingly, because sometimes you're just feeling from a thought or a past thought, your past in some way. And you just kind of feel it all over again, or you feel embarrassed, or you feel, but it's just a thought. It's a memory. It's not reality. And then again, your intuition uses feelings. Your gut feeling, or a feeling something's not just right here, and I need to pause and see what the intuition says. So, it can go different ways. And what keeps occurring to me is the Garden of Eden. Eating that forbidden apple or fruit, and then they are seemingly thrust out of the Garden of Eden because they disobeyed God. And from this life of picking fruit and leisure and just paradise, they're thrust into this other dimension, let's say, of working. You got to work hard. And then there's feuds. You might kill your brother and get in arguments, and oh God, all kind of hell breaks loose. And it's could be just following the mind. The serpent says, oh, well, I don't know what he said to convince them to eat, but it was something that they were curious about. Oh, gosh, this could be an experience. This could be different. And the way he's talking, it could be kind of fun, or great. And then they fell for it. And that's how this whole earthly human existence began. But the bigger part of ourselves never left the Garden of Eden. It never left paradise. And it just is noticing this experiment, or this God experiencing himself in all these different ways and different faces and different lives and stories and all of this stuff. And we can see that as just marvelous. It's miraculous. It's fun. It can just turn into fun when we see it all as effortless. Even digging a ditch can be effortless. Because if you are flowing with it and not like racing against time, or thinking it needs the thinking about it so much, you'd probably take more breaks. You'd just shovel a bit. You'd know it was going to get done. And maybe you wouldn't even be doing it. Who knows? You'd call someone else to do it, and it'd be really effortless. And you just see it happen. No. Well, it's just something to consider, everyone. Because we're in an era where we've got a lot of help. Like the veil is thinning. We can sense more who we really are, what's really real, or we have a lot of help and frequencies and just evolving, let's say. So what I wanted to share with y'all today, and glad I did, because it helps me too. It helps me to define it more and hear it coming out of this mouth, this voice, and it's always talking to me. And you know, when I wrote my books, I can swear on the Bible, it was totally, every one of them, completely effortless. All I did was say, okay, I'll do this. I never stay up at night trying to think what I was going to write. I never got writer's block. I never timed myself how long I would work. I would just go to the computer, my hands would start typing, and I would just kind of know when to stop for the day, and then I'd pick it back up whenever I did. And on my first book, I had to kind of just stop. It could have gone on and on and on. Things just kept coming, but I thought, you know, after 400 pages, that's enough. Enough's enough. and then I stopped. So I know it can be that way. And there's something moving through all of us that moves us to do things, moves the mouth to say things, moves us to experience things. And it was good to experience that. And, you know, at one point before that, when I got out of my wild and crazy life and discovered Jesus and became a missionary, one of the first things I was taught to do was hear from the Lord first thing in the morning, every morning. So I was taught, you know, just simply, as simple as it is, be still, clear your mind, ask to hear from the Lord, have a pencil and paper ready, and the first things that come, write them down. And I did that for lots of years, religiously. And and then even when I took the free course in Reiki, that was one of the first things they said. Okay, you've got to clear your mind. You have to be still. You have to allow this energy to come through. You're not to be questioned, not to say it has to do it this way or that way, or even heal someone. You just point in a direction and be empty and allowing. So, that's how we can do this. It's effortless. It was all effortless. Love you guys. Wishing everyone and myself a continually effortless life. Aloha.